Make 4, I want you to run back to the stand belt. Make 4.
Make 4.
Hello and welcome back to the news show, which discusses topics on the world's premier combat flight simulator for the home PC. It's produced by Eagle Dynamics and it's called DCS World. I'm your host, Prickly Hedgehog, and this is the DCS SITREP. Let's dive straight into this week's newsletter from the ED team, who are eager to let us know about more changes coming to DCS World, but also highlighted some things which are already in play. This includes serious tweaks to the Syria map by Ugra Media, in case you missed it from last week, and the big patch. And also ED have been working on implementing an overhaul of the fusing and mechanics of the game's numerous weapons. Let's start with Syria, which was well received when it was first released and has several updates since that time. It's a big map too, featuring areas of Turkey, Israel, and Cyprus, and it is a paid content map for those unfamiliar. Ugra Media's most recent updates to the DCS Syria map delivered optimized scenes and models by reducing the number of bushes and textures while simplifying damages and car models, according to the newsletter. Ground textures saw a boost in frame rate performance due to updates to the ground vector data renderer. Cool. Detailed enhancements cover the territories of southern Israel and Jordan, featuring additions like Amman, King Abdullah II, Prince Hassan, Muwafaq Sulti, and Herzliya airfields. Technical fixes addressed relays and ILS and Ramat David airfield, and errors and objects were also fixed. The adjustments to the sea depth near the shore and tower frequencies changed at Wuja al-Hajjah airfield, improved realism, while Ain Shima airfields benefit from runway extension and added parking lots at Ain Shima, Megiddo, and Aramat airfields. Apologies for any mispronunciations there, that was a tricky one. Optimizations are always welcome when it comes to maps of high quality like this, especially when flying in highly detailed models like the F-14, the F-15E, of course, the Apache, and various others. We're also expecting some Phantom 2 high fidelity excitement around the corner here as well, so again, optimizations and performance enhancements are only good for the community so we can enjoy these virtual jets and helicopters as nature intended, or at least hopefully as the developers intended. Let me know if you've reaped any enjoyment out of the map update since last week's whopping patch.
Hydro on 1, Focus 38 radio check, White 8.
Focus 38, Hydro 1-1, you're loud and clear.
As mentioned, ED has been working on weapons and described the following things. They are pleased to share progress on improving the functionality of the Mission Editor Payload settings window and the in-mission rearm and refueling pop-up. These interfaces will allow you much finer control of the fuse settings, laser codes, cluster bomb settings, unique 3D fuse models, and more. These panels will allow you to take weaponeering, they say, to the next level in DCS World. Cool. More specifically, they have focused on implementing bomb features that are relevant for modern munitions, that include both general purpose bombs, sub-munitions, and guided munitions. This specifically includes setting the laser code or pulse recognition frequencies for laser guided munitions like Paveway 2 and 3, target spin rate at bomblet released for CBU type munitions, airburst heights for munitions with radio altimeters, and even adjusting seeker and control system parameters for weapons that have this capability. Really cool stuff. Now, based on the nose fuse selection, they said that the 3D models are now adjusted accordingly and even include sub-variants for nose plugs. They are also including bomb casings, differences between the US Air Force and the US Navy weapons. I absolutely love this attention to detail. I think that's fantastic, and it is not an insignificant task to both visually redo some of the 3D artwork and things like that, but also configure all of these settings to provide a much more flexible set of parameters. Then somebody had to go out there and test to make sure all of these things work. So I'm hoping to see in the game continued growth in targets as well, not just static, but also more vehicles, aircraft, and naval assets where applicable, to just build on this immersion experience with the weapons. In other words, using the right weapon to destroy the appropriate target, which you can do now, but again, more flexibility and more variety in this will be cool. They've worked pretty hard on this area, and remember too, we did see a showcasing of new assets in the 2024 and beyond video, which featured scenes from what definitely appeared to be Marianas World War II. Remember, that has been promised as a feature of the map since its release, but was still a work in progress. Marianas is free, and so will the World War II map, I believe. And the assets, though, that might be downloadable content or pay for downloadable content. I suspect there will be a need to add more AI assets anyway to bolster the dynamic campaign environment that they're building. So all of this is really just good news. Let me know what you think of the planned weapons updates.
Alicat, Night 42.
Night 42, Alicat, go ahead.
Roger, do you have an ELB done?
Night 42, Alicat, say again, broken.
Alicat, Night 42, please say again, you're all broken.
Lastly, they plugged the Wolf community server for those looking to embark on multiplayer service, which is certainly a daunting prospect, I must say. That community has more than 10 multiplayer servers across several genres of aircraft, mission modes, and eras. They have their own Discord channel as well, which you can join up to. Check out their Discord, therefore, for more information on that front. Not dissimilar, it sounds like, to Tactical DCS, which is a very large community, and that is also a great resource for people looking for everything from casual flying to more advanced flying to training and all that kind of stuff. There's a myriad of flavors out there amongst the DCS community and all sorts of skill levels. Again, it can be a little bit intimidating sometimes because some of these servers, they're pretty close groups. There are people that take this stuff very, very seriously. So if you're a casual player, that can be a little bit daunting. So you check out those Discord channels for a little bit more information if you're wanting to embark in that area. And I think you will enjoy it too, because I can tell you right now, flying with real people, hands down, way, way better than flying with the AI. It's a lot of fun.
Two covered, Night 41. Nice, push base 30.
Now, not covered in this week's newsletter was information from Heatblur, who advised that they are pushing out their pre-order swag for the Phantom 2, which includes things like the t-shirts and the vinyl records that they sold as part of their bundle packages for early access to the Phantom 2. They advised, though, that due to the high demand, there may be some delays into March, but some people I know have already received their merch, which is exciting stuff. I haven't got my t-shirt yet, but waiting for that in the mail here hopefully soon. As a reminder, we also saw a great video from them last week. This was episode 2, I believe, on the flight model that they discussed. They've been working very hard on this aircraft. I expect we'll see part 3 videos this weekend, if we're lucky, revealing more details on what I think is one of the year's most anticipated modules. And they did talk early on about the different areas that they were going to cover, including the systems, the weapons, and Jester, as well as that flight model. I think the first episode was more of an introduction. So yeah, some more content coming. Whether or not we'll see this aircraft in Q1, counting down to the wire here. Remember, that was my promise. If we release it in Q1, I'll give away a Phantom 2. And if it's not released in Q1, I'll give away 2 Phantom 2s for being wrong, because my guess is it's going to be in Q1. So that's my, that's my little, I guess, challenge to myself. We'll see what happens here.
Hydra, focus is 2 to the turn.
Focus Hydra, thanks.
Now, as some of you may have noticed, I have been very, very, very fortunate to have been invited by Pimax to test their amazing Pimax Crystal VR headset, and you've probably seen a few other DCS YouTube content creators using them as well. Mover is one of those people that also has one of the headsets. I'm planning to do some more videos on the headset, and this week the team, well, this past week actually, this Pimax team did an update to the firmware and software. So I actually noticed another boost in general performance. There was also an NVIDIA patch as well to work with some of the 4080 supercards. That seemed to benefit me a little bit. I don't know if it's sort of a combination of one of those or a combination of those things, I should say, or one over the other. Nonetheless, I'll take any boost in performance. They also unlocked the pass-through system for the VR headset while it's being used as in PC mode, because it can actually be used in a standalone. Works really well if you're not running DCS. So really helpful feature. It actually kind of reminded me of those early games, the Rainbow Six games, where you put the NVGs down, the grainy sort of black and white ones. That's what it was looking like. So it's not a high resolution camera by any stretch, it's black and white. But yeah, I found it rather unusable while DCS was running. It was just, the frame rate was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 frames per second or something. I don't know. Anyway, it was major lag, and unfortunately I couldn't use it. When the game's not running, no problem, I could look around, which was, again, useful. I don't have to turn things off, but I'm hoping that they can work on that. We'll see what happens. And it could be my hardware setup. I don't know. There could be a number of reasons for that. But a really, really cool feature that I'm hoping will be able to be used so that you don't have to, take the headset off and readjust it every time, so on and so forth. So really, I have to say, I am loving the VR. I cannot go back to 2D, I don't think, and that's going to be part of my next video, that discussion, and why. I think it really is the best way to enjoy DCS for the full immersion experience. Obviously, if you're looking for cinematics and all the rest of it, VR is not a great platform for that. You just can't record to the degree of detail that you are actually watching in screen because of the technology you're recording. I mean, you're only recording one flat screen, which doesn't give you a lot of resolution compared to the two screens that you're looking at to produce those 3D images. But yeah, it's just amazing, even though there is, some hassles with it, and it's not perhaps as salubrious looking outside of the cockpit, but in terms of the actual experience, so much better. And it looks really, really cool. Some of the maps like Syria that I was flying around look amazing, and there's a lot of good maps out there that look really good with this technology. So stay tuned for more on that. And in addition to, you saw probably in the community portion of the channel, a Lithuanian company reached out to me, Flicontech, and they sent me a trial set of their EVO Mark I joystick and the desk mounting kit. This is something I'll also be exploring, as I know many of us enjoy other simulation genres as well. One of those is space simulation games, and they have made something of a resurgence in the last few years. I still haven't truly found a game that recreates the sheer fun of something like X-Wing vs TIE Fighter from way back in the 90s. Nonetheless, there are some really good space shooters out there. This attractive looking joystick looks like it could fit the bill for that, a little bit more flexible and user-friendly in that sense. I was trying to think of one of the games that is it Frontier? No, there's a game, and I can't remember what it's called. Alas. But there are some good, like I said, shooters out there, space shooters. I'll tell you one thing too, the mounting bracket that they provided is built like something you could attach a trailer hitch to and haul things around. It is unbelievable. We'll see how this experience goes and whether this is something of an alternative compared to the many joystick makers out there. I think the whole kit with the joystick and the mounting bracket, the base, was €400, which is not cheap, but again, it compares very, very well with a lot of other systems out there where you still have to buy all of those things independently. So this came as a bundle, which I enjoyed. There's, like I said, a myriad of companies out there producing a lot of good joysticks. A lot of them do copy what's actually in the real aircraft, which has a great deal of appeal. And it's becoming a very, very popular market, and there's some nice kit out there, but some of it is getting pretty bloody expensive to buy as well. I've seen that company that basically produces a replica of the F-16 flight stick, which is pressure sensitive, like the real thing. It only moves a little bit. And I think, is it Rhino? There's another group that does like a helicopter stick that is, I think, force feedback, and I think Decatur from the Air Warfare group has one. And he was telling me that when you move the trim, this also influences the stick, so it really does behave like the real thing. But of course, these pieces of equipment are pretty darned expensive. So the hobby is not cheap. So anything that provides high quality in a bundle like this, I think, is a good piece of kit. So stay tuned for more information on that as I get to grips with it, so to speak. See what I did there.
One height finder 09820, one long track 260 at 9, one height finder 263 at 6, one tin shield 095 at 4, one spoon rest 034 at 4. That's Merlin complete.
Alright, lastly, in DCS news, Metal to Mesh from RAZBAM posted some really gorgeous images of intake covers for the F-15E, which appear to be customizable for specific units as well, which is really, really cool. Once again, it's these small things which bring the modules alive, and I can't wait to see more work in this area, like live ground crew removing pins and flags for us on the aircraft, getting it prepped for launch, and helping getting these jets started up. It's silly stuff really in the grand scheme of things, but it just appeals to the nerd in me, and it just adds an element, a touch more immersion, which I think we all love to see in DCS world. And I know that Wags and the team have talked about once they've completed the supercarrier work for the ground crew there, and the deck crew, some of that will transfer over to the land-based jets as well. So yeah, hopefully we'll see that in the near future. Well, let's wrap it up. Thanks again for the tremendous amount of support from last week from so many of you. That was awesome. I think we had about 100 subscriptions last week, which pumped us over the 11,000 subscribers mark, which was amazing. Special thanks to all of you who used the super thanks to support the channel. That really helps things chug along and is massively appreciated. Keeps us afloat, keeps us running, because it's not cheap to produce these videos, believe it or not. And of course, all of the likes, shares, comments, and other community contributions is very, very much appreciated and very, very important to keep us astride of these YouTube algorithms. So thank you so much once again. That'll do for this week. We'll see you next time on the DCS SITREP. Cheers, everyone.